Today I have a really easy way to create some fun backgrounds real quick. Hi there, it's Therese from Lostinpaper, and this is the beautiful new Parrot Tulips Builder Flower set from Altenew. And I was looking at this gorgeous layering flower and thought that it'd make a great background stamp because of this final solid outline. It's almost like a flourish. So I thought I'd just share a really quick way to make some backgrounds using this, using the Misty. So it's because of the Misty that it makes it such an easy technique, because you can make multiples. You don't have to realign your stamps each time. You can actually make bulk lots, and you can do them whatever colors you want. So I have 2 pieces of cardstock here, and they're cut the same size as my card front, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And what I'm doing is I'm using this stamp, this flower image, to create a pattern. I'm ensuring that I stamp it off the edge of the cardstock, and by leaving the stamp in place on the lid of the Misty, I can simply just change out my cardstock each time and come in with another colour, or do multiples of the same colour. I don't have to keep rethinking about where the image is going to go. And the great thing about having the original size Misty here is that when I do hang my stamp off the edge of the cardstock, I can just flip my cardstock around to a different portion of the Misty, just to make sure that I can make it look like the pattern continues on in the paper. So I did add a couple of the leaf images as well, and I grabbed the same sort of final layer of the stamp. And this is a beautiful big flower, so I really didn't need to stamp it many times, but I did make sure that I filled in all of those gappy edge bits. And one of the cards I did with the obsidian ink, and the second card I did with the dusk blue, which is just beautiful. Now I'm going to put my first card together now. With this particular panel, I did cut it down a bit, so you can do whatever you want with these panels. You can put them aside and have them ready to go for a quick project. You can also die cut things out of them. You can use them as a simple base and add a sentiment. I kept them both very simple today. So I did cut it slightly smaller than my card front, and I've just temporarily adhered that on the top of on the front of my top fold card, so that I can line up the negative die cut space. So I cut an apothecary label, one of the nesting dies, out of the center, and then I want to add a mirror gold hello from the signature words die. It's one of my favorite go-to sets from Altenew. I like the little font, and I like it being a die cut, because then you can do whatever color you want, and it really stands out on a card design. So I did decide to come in and add some ink splatters after I popped up the front panel on some fun foam, and I wanted to protect the cardstock around these flowers. So I basically just cut a circle out of a piece of scrap cardstock, held it over place while I splattered the antique gold ink spray. And this does take a little bit of time to dry. That's why I did it last, and I can just set that whole card aside to dry. And try not to touch it while it's drying. And I did want to quickly mention that this is part of a blog hop for the release of this builder flower, so head through the link in the description below and you'll find lots more inspiration from the team. Alright, so I did decide to add some black splatter to my dusk panel design, and this one doesn't actually take as long to dry. It's not a metallic ink spray, but I was careful adding it to the front of my card just in case. I've die cut a couple of the water brush hello dies in some jet black cardstock, and I've done 2 because I want to make it a little bit more solid so that I can pop it up on the front of the card. And I did use some black foam squares to do that, so they're not as easy to see behind the word. And I did add a sub-sentiment from the Hello and Hugs stamp set, which is typically becoming another one of my favourite go-tos from Altenew. So I hope you've had some fun here today. I hope you can look at your stamps and maybe see if there's something that you can create a quick and fun background with. And if you did enjoy today's video, it'd be great if you could click on the thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't already. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.